Good evening, everyone. This is Toady Embry. Sorry, I cleaned my fingers off. Anyway, it's Saturday Night Live with Toady, Stampin' with Toady. And thank you if you're going to join me. If you're not here right yet, that's cool. You can always catch me on the replay. And I do that. But tonight we're going to do something. We're going to do something with pumpkins tonight. So it should be fun. I've been working to try to get a few projects done, and been working on lots of different things, but I thought tonight that I would do something sort of fallish, since the temperature has, at least here anyway, it's gotten a little bit cooler than all the humidity and stuff that we've been having. So it's kind of nice for that. But anyway, so I'm joining you tonight from my Riverview Creative Studio, and an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in New Bern, North Carolina. Hi, Vicki. And you could get to my website by going to www.riverviewcreativestudio.com. And so let me put this away, and then I will show you the two cards we're going to do tonight. Vicki, I don't think you've done these before. But anyway, so here is card number 1. And I've done, so this is with embossing folders. So I cut the pieces out, and I'll tell you what sets that I've used for it. I've got sets sitting all around, so it might take me a minute to figure it out. So anyway, the leaves come from a one set. So then I cut these out, and then I put them through an embossing folder. So you can use whatever embossing folder you have or you like or whatever. And so that's what that is. That this has some of different papers. Several different papers. And so that on the inside, I didn't put any sentiment or anything, but that's card number 1 we're going to do. And then, so that is a adorable, normal size A2 card. And then this one is the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card that I've been doing. So this would, actually it looks a little country, doesn't it? Kind of a little bit country. Well, that one does too, but so this one is a smaller version of it. And so I've just used some different papers and everything. And then on the inside, I put a little bit lighter color. But this is the one, this is, the size of this paper is 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then it's 4 1/4 is the score. Okay, so this is the one I've done before. I didn't do an envelope for it yet, but you know, the envelope is, you just measure diagonally, and then you add an inch. So I think it's 7 inches. Yep, so you do a 7-inch square, and you could make your envelope. But anyway, so I kind of like this one too. Yeah, I agree with you, because they're both totally different. But I mean, this one definitely has more of a country, little feminine touch to it. This one is a little bit darker color, but 2 different embossing folders, Vicki, 2 different ones. And so let me pull all that stuff out, and then I'll show you how to do it. So I used In Good Taste for where I got that that paper from, and then for the other one, for the little one, I used the Plaid Tidings, and so this one has just a little bit, and then a little bit with that. And then the paper, of course, is mint macaron, and then this paper is part of the I have scraps, so it comes from the Gilded Autumn, but I just, you know, and then this piece here comes from the Gilded Autumn too, I think. Yeah, the Gilded Autumn too. So I just used little pieces, because I don't know about you, but I have a DSP. I have folders for all of my scraps, and so I have a DSP one, so I keep those. But I mean, you wouldn't have to do that. I just wanted to have, I love the different textures and the different patterns. So anyway, so we're going to make both of those tonight. So let's see. Okay, so these, I used all these different papers, and I've already cut everything out. But I will go through it. And we're using the mint macaron, and we're using the Cajun craze, and then we're also edging some of the leaves with the mossy meadow. But let me see. I've got let's see where those are. Got all these different things. Okay, so For the pumpkin shapes, if you have this set, which is called the stitch shape dies, so in the the stitched shaped dies, there's 4. So you could actually use this one to make even a bigger pumpkin, this last one. But I used this is the biggest pumpkin, this size. So I cut them out of whatever color paper you want. I used pumpkin pie for the darker orangey, and these other. So I cut little ones out too. So I'll show you this. I have little ones I cut all 3 sizes so I could do 3 pumpkins, but I've only actually done 2. But I thought this one might be cute to do like 2 pumpkins on the card, and but I just did it. I didn't do it yet. So anyway, so these are the ones that I used, all of these. So I cut 3 of each one out per pumpkin, okay? And so that's this particular set, which I love. So it's you could find different things that people have done with these particular shapes on Pinterest. They've done different pumpkins and everything. But anyway, so that's these 3. Okay, so I'm gonna put these over here because we don't need them, but I just wanted to show them to you. And then so these are, I use these 2 embossing folders. They're both still in the catalog, but I used this one, which is the tin roof, and this one is the Parisian one. So the big pumpkin's done with the Parisian one, and then the tin roof is what I used for this one. But I just put I cut them all out, and then you could, if you wanted to, just do the whole page and then cut your pieces out. I just chose not to do it that way. But 6 of one, half dozen the other. Whichever you want to do, way you do it is you can do it. Okay. So and then the celebration labels is actually for the big card. This is the size that I used for that one. So I used the paper, the wood grade paper, but you could use any paper you want, or you could use the plaids or whatever. But that's this one, and it comes from the celebration dies. And then for the little pumpkin, I used this one for the little one on here. So I just like it. And then this is mint macaron, and of course this is what this is. This is Flurry Flamingo. It kind of looks cool. It's kind of a softer color, but it looks really nice with mint macaron, I think. So that's these 2. Okay, so those 2 are with that set. And then I use the leaf adhere in the seasonal layers thinline. And then this leaf here I used for the big one here. And I'm not sure if this one is, I think this one is still in, but I'm not sure if it is. So, hey, Sue. But I didn't have a chance to check to see. But anyways, but you could use any leaves, leaf sets that you want, but I just chose those. Okay, so that's that. And then, so you can see I cut out different shapes, and then I just put them in the embossing folder and did that. So, okay. So I'm breaking with my rules, my tradition. Tonight I'm actually making the card here. I'm making the card here as it is here. Normally I don't do that. Normally I do something different, but I'm going to do it this way tonight because I kind of think it's fun. Okay, so this is very vanilla. So this is 8.5 by 5 1/4. 8.5 by 5. I think it's, wait a second. 8.5 by 5.5. Yes, 8.5 by 5. I do so many different card shapes. 8.5 by 5.5, and then it is scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so this is an A2 card. This is how I do it. Okay, so this is the inside part. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in so it'll be out of the way. I'm choosing not to stamp anything on it, but of course you can choose. You could stamp whatever you want on it, yours. But I'm not doing that. If you were going to do that, then you should probably stamp it before you attach it in here, just in case. You never know, especially on camera. I would not want to put it on here and then stamp it because you just never know what's going to happen. It's always a surprise. Okay, so that's that. And let me find my... So that's that size. Okay. So this one I've already pre-cut. Okay. So again, it came from the In Good Taste. And so I cut it out with the largest, not the largest die, but one of the larger ones. But you can tell by which one because it'll fit on here. Okay. So I'm just going to glue this on. I think this would be a really fun card to make. I like doing cards that, you know, they're not like all from one thing, or you just, when I'm doing a video, I like to do something that's a little different and not just plain stamping what's in the set. Doing a little bit, something that's a little bit more creative. So I hope you like this pumpkin. And I'm gonna do, I finally got the the apple set, the Harvest Hellos. I finally bought that. I didn't buy it last year, and I didn't buy it initially. So I finally bought it, and I bought the punch. Anyway, I'm gonna do some cards with that, but I haven't done it yet. So since it's cooler, that's what I decided to do today. Okay, so this is for the little card. Okay, so this one is going to be, it is going to be different because this one is done with the one I showed you is done with the Parisian, and this one is done with the tin roof, so it does look a little different. So what I do, okay, is you kind of look at all three of them. I look at all three of them, and I see which two are similar, and so these two are similar. So I'm going to put, so then you just kind of eyeball how you want it, right? You could separate them more, because what happens is that when you put this one on top, it's like this, right? Is that cool? Okay, so that's that. And then I cut the little piece out of here. I just put that there, and I'll cut that out, but I'll do that in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue these on, and then we will go from there. But so yeah, you could make these. They're so fun. You can make them with lots of different shapes, but this is how I do it. And like I said, you can look on Pinterest and you will find a zillion different ways to make pumpkins. But I think my favorite is with the embossing folders. I just love it. So when I joined last year, I joined at the end of August. So I never made a card when I joined. So by the time I learned how to make cards and stuff, I was kind of, it was kind of already past, the fall stuff. We were thinking about Christmas by then. So I didn't really get to make a lot of fall cards last year. So I'm excited about doing it this year. Okay, so this way. Yep, I'm gonna do it this way. I mean, you could definitely use dimensionals if you want to. I am going to use dimensionals, but not on this part of the pumpkins. Let's see. Isn't it kind of cool how it works? I don't know. I kind of like them both for different reasons. I like them both for different reasons. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, so now, so I just made like a little. Just like a little shape that I mean, you could just fussy cut, and I'm gonna fussy cut it, but I mean, I just made a little shape that I liked for the little piece, the end of the vine for the pumpkin is. And I was gonna color it. I was gonna use solid color that just tip it in another color, but then I thought, it'd be much more exciting to do it in a plaid. So that's what I decided to do. So then you just kind of slide it in however you want. Okay, so put a little glue on it. And this is the fun part, because you could use whatever you have. Because, those little pieces that you have left over, I keep them. Because, exactly for things like this. Because then you could, you could make use of it without cutting it into a whole piece of paper. Okay, you just kind of put that where you want it. Okay, so that's that. Isn't that cool looking? I like the way that looks. Okay, so now I've got to get my leaves. Where are my leaves? So I went ahead and, so these are in the embossing folder. So I went ahead and did those because, or these are with the leaf embossed, but they're kind of embossed. And if you want more, this has a lot of definition, but you can spritz it with water before you run it through, and it will, it'll make more show up if you want. I'm going to use the Bossy Meadow because I like the little bit of difference in color. So let's see. And I don't label mine. I know some people label them. I don't know. It's green. I use it. I don't really fuss over it too much, honestly. these little daubers. If it's green, I'm going to use it. I don't really worry about it. And some people have one for every color. I don't know. I just haven't gotten that anal about it. Maybe I should, but I haven't. So this is kind of, I just like putting a little bit of color onto them because I think it kind of adds something to dimensionally to them. So I mean, you could use whatever you want. I just kind of like to do it. Kind of do all different sorts of things. I've been making all kinds of cards. I'm trying to get my stock of cards up because I want to sell some, and so I've been trying to work on them. So I've been making like 6 or 7 cards of the same design. So once I design a card, then I go back and make 6 or 7 of them at one time. So it takes. So I have them. So that's okay. So that's that one and then that one. Okay. So that's that right here. Okay, so what I do is I just put these, and you can put them however you like. I put one dimensional, one of the bigger dimensionals on them. However, you could put as many as you want, but these things hold really well. So I like to put it up here, and you could also make some little squigglies. I didn't do it because I put the ribbon on, but you could make the squiggles, you know, like you could use some ribbon to make like a little, those little swirly things that that pumpkins and things have on them. And, but you could do that if you wanted to. You can put more leaves if you want. I love the pumpkin. I don't want to lose too much of the shape. And then I just I like to put something down here because you see how these 3 layers, I think it kind of helps to tie it all together when you kind of do it, touch it. So that's my rationale for doing it anyway. Okay, so then I have this, and I use this, and I cut these to 1-inch widths. Usually I have some left over, and but I'm cutting stuff. So anyway, so I cut these to 1-inch width. So then I just stamp it. Hey, this one says, hey there, pumpkin. So this one I'm going to stamp on. I'll use the Cajun Craze. But again, you could use whatever colors you have, whatever colors you like. And I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. But one of the things I've had trouble with is getting it into the banner punch. And if you make it too short, you can't get it in the banner punch. So where's the banner punch? I had it out here. Nope, that's not one. Here it is. The banner punch. You could use whatever one you like, but I go back and forth. But this is my current favorite, so I've used this one now. And for the banner punch. Okay, so then you figure out like how long you want it. And I kind of like it, a little bit bigger. Okay, so now, so this is the banner punch. If you don't have the banner punch. Okay, so then I'm going to get this out again. I'm going to edge this one a little bit brown. And let's see. Okay, here we go. Because it just adds a little something to it. And I love the crumb cake paper. It reminds me of brown paper bags. Do you remember we used to have brown paper bags? Now everything's those daggone white plastic bags or whatever we carried. We used to carry our own bags, which, you know, so when we're actually going grocery shopping. But yeah, remember the brown paper bags? I love brown paper bags. We used to cut them up. And I remember for Thanksgiving when I was a kid, morning, there'd always be somebody they would take a lunch bag and they'd make like a pumpkin, or they make like a turkey out of the brown lunch bags. And then you'd have construction paper, and so you would you'd fill it up, the bag up with paper, and then you would cut out of the construction paper. You would cut out the tail feathers of the turkey, that you would glue them on. And it seemed like there was always some little show when I was growing up that they would do that, even though I knew how to do it. On Thanksgiving morning, they would always do that. And so it was fun. So I always made one. So there's this one. Okay, so now we need to make the ribbon for it. Okay, so I've got this, my trusty bow maker, and so we're going to use this ribbon. It comes in a combination, and so this is the kind of, it's a Cajun craze, but it doesn't have labels on it. I kind of wish they had labels on them because I always have to look them up to find out which ones they are. But anyway, so you just kind of wrap it. If you don't have this, you could get it from, it's an adjustable maker. Get it from tadamoments.com and TADA Moments, and it's worth the $10 or whatever she's charging for it today. It's just completely worth it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so this one. And I like this kind of ribbon. It kind of looks like raffia, but it's so versatile, especially for this time of year. Last year I was using real raffia for a lot of my little projects and stuff because I love the raffia ribbon. That's how I was using that for stuff. Okay, so cut this off, and then kind of fluff it up a little bit, and then just use a glue dot to hold it on. Put it in. Is that cool? It looks gorgeous when you do it just like this, then you put it on. Okay, so let me find, my glue dots are getting close to the end. And I usually just put one on for this kind of a bow, but when I use, oh, it's coming loose. It's coming loose. Okay, not fun. Okay. Okay, so it's untied itself a little bit, but that's okay, I'll fix it. Okay, so that's that one. Kind of cute. And I've already put this on the inside. Okay, so that's that one. So let's do the little one now. Hey, Kelly. Here's this little one now. This one it's a little bit different, but I still love it. Okay, so let's see. Put this one over here. So this one we're going to use. We're going to use these. And this is actually the same pattern. Okay, so it's the tin roof pattern. Okay, so then again, this card is 8.5 by 4 1/4. Okay, so it's square, and then it's scored at 4 1/4. Okay, this is crumb cake. Okay, so then this is 4 by 4 by 4 by 4. This is mint macaron, and I put this here. Again, I'm doing softer colors for this particular card, so they're all a little different. But I love them both for different reasons. So here's this one. Okay, so then I went ahead and I cut this out of the, I used this one. Okay, and it's in the Celebration label dies. Okay, so this is the one I used. Okay, so I basically just centered it here. Let's make sure I'm doing this right because sometimes, yeah. And then now I didn't cut an inside piece for that, but I will cut one for it a little bit. Just getting all my little bits out of here so that I have them at my hands. Okay, so I love this, but you could actually do it on this side or whatever suits your fancy. But I wanted softer colors because the Flirty Flamingo is kind of it's kind of an interesting pink. It's kind of I don't know what they call it, but it's a different pink. And so that pink looks really good with the neutral colors, so subtle colors. So that's what I chose for it. But anyway, so that's that. And then again, I do the same thing. I look at these, so I think these two are closer to the same, and then I'll put this one on top. But, it really doesn't matter because they look cool. But you could do whatever works for you. Put this one on. You could pre-measure them if you wanted, and see where you're going to fit them. But I kind of like to freeform a little bit after making a few of them. Isn't it cute though? I just think it's the cutest thing. I love these pumpkins. I've been holding off doing anything fall, but now that it's cooler, I'm like, okay, Tony, you got to get with the program. So But yeah, I want to make some apples. I saw a really cute basket of apples, and so I want to play around with that. Maybe I'll do it for Tuesday. On Tuesdays, I always try to do like a technique. So I usually do something a little different. So I don't know. We'll see what I come up with. Okay, so there's that. And then, of course, I have another one of these little thingies. This is my little pattern that I made. I don't know why I made a pattern, because I really didn't need to. I was just in that kind of a mood earlier today, and I just made a little pattern. I'm like, okay, I want to make them all look the same somehow, or very similar. So, so that's my little, this is my other little patterns. I've got those. So you could do it however you want, but I like it. I like it with the dark brown. Then put some glue on it. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Kind of funky, funkadelic. Okay, there's that. Is that cool? I think it looks cool just like that. Then I got to dab off some of this glue. Okay, so that's that part. And then, so we're going to do this with again, we'll do these with the dimensionals. And you could use the mini dimensionals, but if you have them, but would it look cool this way too? It would look kind of cool that way, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stick to the program. I'm going to do the shiny side. But you know, there are so many different papers that you could use. I just love it. I like the variety with this particular pattern of paper. So I've used 3 different kinds of paper. It's kind of nice. Okay, so there's that, and of course you could put more leaves if you want. And again, so you have all these 3 levels here. I think having a leaf down here just kind of ties it together. So that's why I put it at the bottom. But you know, you could add some other different types of leaves. You could add some, you know, whatever you want down here. But this is kind of how I like to do it, like that. So it kind of brings a little bit of blingy bling. Okay, so we have 2 more things left to do. One, we need to make this little piece right here. Okay, so I'm gonna find my Make Me Smile. Make me smile. Here it is right here. These are little, and these come from the apple. These come from the Harvest Hellos, which the pumpkins did it, but that's where these come from. Okay, so I'm using lots of different ones. Okay, so then this one. So then for the sentiment, I used the mint macaron, and then I edged it in the mint macaron, which I will do again. You make me smile. And the pumpkin looks kind of happy, right? So it's kind of cool to do that. Okay, so let me get my banner punch. Thought I had it out. It must be on the table somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yep, it's here. I've got, you would not believe if you could see what I have here. Oh my gosh, I have so many different projects on my desktop right now. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut that, put this away, and then, oops, okay. So if you don't have this one, this is kind of cool. You could use it to round corners, you could put holes in, and this one's, they still are selling this one, okay? So I decided on this one I was going to round the edges, so you just put it in. Sometimes I have trouble making it work just because I want to make it more complicated than it really is. Isn't that cool? Kind of looks like, I don't know, it looks like a submarine or something. Okay, so then let me get my green out of here. We're almost done. We're almost done. Thank you guys for joining in with me. And if you're new to my page, then so I do a Saturday Night Live, I do a Tuesday Tips with Tony, and then a wind down Wednesday for the midweek. So this past week I didn't do Wednesday. It was kind of a busy week, but Anyway, I try to do those 3. And then if you want to look at some of my other ones, my previous ones, I have like 40 different videos, I think, right now. And they're on my Riverview Creative Studio Facebook page, or you can go to my Riverview Creative Studio YouTube channel, and you can find them there. So if you like and share, then if you like it and subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you'll be notified whenever I put a new video up there. And I appreciate the subscribers. I don't have enough people anyway, so I don't have any commercials or anything on my page. But I appreciate that. Okay, so you could do this one. You make me smile. So then all I have to do, and I will do that afterwards, is, I think I cut it though. What did I do with it? I thought I cut it. There's a piece that I cut to go up there. Okay, so it's going to be 4 by 4. So let me cut it real quick, and then I'll put it in there. And then we will have a finished product, which is kind of nice. So, so on the inside of the card, I like to always, you don't have to, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Makes the card look a little nicer. So I used a softer color as opposed to using Very Vanilla, or Very Vanilla would look really good with this color palette, but I decided to use Blushing Bride. I think this is Blushing Bride. I think there's 2 of them. I don't use them that often because they're really soft colors. But anyway, especially not like this time of year, but I like it. I like the way it looks against the paper. Okay, so all I have to do now is make that one bow. So here's my bow maker. And this is the other ribbon that I absolutely love. If I could find it. Here it is. This copper, the metallic ribbon. And it comes in a package with this mint macaron paper, which I really love too. So anyway, this time last year I was trying to teach myself how to make bows. I didn't have a bow maker. And so it was, you know, how you do Christmas cards and stuff, and you have to have bows on them. I don't, honestly, I don't put a lot of bows on stuff. And I don't put a lot of bling on cards that I make. Sometimes I do, but I just, for me personally, I think less is more. So I know people really like to, and they do step it up, but most of the cards, I just don't do it. You won't see me do a lot of bling in my videos anyway, but I love the bling. I just don't have to do it. So there's a time and a place. I do like the rhinestones. And then for me, I use these T-pins. I don't know if you've seen my video before, but I use these T-pins, and it holds the ribbon down really nicely. And so you could, easy to find the end of the ribbon. Anyway, so that's that. Okay, so this ribbon gives me fits sometimes because of the metallic. Like the glue dots don't want to seem to stick to it sometimes. So yes, I wrapped this around 3 times. That's why I got three of these. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't want to. I gotta snip this off. It's too long. Sometimes the glue dots, it doesn't want to stick very well. So I usually put 2 glue dots on these, and but I'll come back and pick a card up, and I'll be like, okay, there's a random bow here that needs to go on something. Okay, so then you could put the bow anywhere. I just to me, it kind of speaks to me that this is where it wants the bow to be, right at the top of the pumpkin. Anyway, so that is that. Anyway, this is the small one. It's kind of a country pumpkin, I think. Kind of a stepped up country pumpkin. Okay, there's that. And then this one, of course, is more of a traditional looking pumpkin, but of course it's got this fancy pattern on it. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And again, my name is Tony Embry, and I'm coming to you live from my studio, the Riverview Creative Studio. And you can go to my website at www.riverviewcreativestudio.com. Check it out. And again, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a happy Sunday. And God bless. And I'll see you next time.